These are 6 power tools: table saw, miter saw, circular saw, angle grinder, router, and reciprocating saw that are still better corded because the cordless versions fade fast, and in some cases they fade a lot faster than the marketing would have you believe. Now look, I'm not anti-cordless. Cordless tools have come incredibly far. Brushless motors, high-capacity lithium-ion batteries, and smart electronics have genuinely closed the gap. But here's the thing, physics hasn't changed. A 20-volt, 5-amp-hour battery stores 100 watt-hours of energy. A standard 15-amp outlet delivers 1,800 watts continuously. That's not a gap that better marketing can close. That's a fundamental difference between stored energy and continuous power from the wall, and for certain tools, that difference still matters enormously. So let's get into the 6 tools where corded is still king. Starting with the table saw. If you've ever watched a cordless table saw bog down halfway through a thick piece of hardwood, you already know what the ads won't tell you. Testing shows you get roughly 12 to 14 rips through 2x lumber on a single 9-amp-hour battery. That sounds reasonable until you're on a job site making hundreds of cuts, or you're resawing 4x4s in the shop. No cordless model, not from DeWalt, Milwaukee, Makita, or Bosch, touches a corded saw for that kind of work. And here's a detail that'll make you laugh if you run a crew. Battery drain gets particularly painful when you've got what I call tentative cutters on your team. You know the type. They fire up the saw, then stand there for a minute or two, contemplating the cut while the blade just spins. With a corded saw, that's free entertainment. With a cordless saw, that's your runtime evaporating into thin air. A corded table saw plugged into the wall doesn't care if it's been running for 10 minutes or 10 hours. It delivers the same power on the last cut as it did on the first. And for any kind of production environment, that consistency is non-negotiable. Next up is the miter saw. This one follows the same logic as the table saw, but it deserves its own spot on the list because miter saws live in a unique category. They tend to sit in one spot, whether that's a workshop or a miter saw station on a job site. And if a tool is going to sit in one spot all day, why would you voluntarily limit its runtime? Corded miter saws deliver consistent, uninterrupted power with high torque for smooth, precise cuts in dense materials. The cordless versions, though, show their weakness as the battery depletes. You get power fade, which means reduced torque and blade speed over the course of a long day, and for all-day trim work or cutting thick stock, that fade adds up. There's also the long-term value argument. Corded miter saws cost less up front because you're not paying for battery technology, and they're simple machines. The motors can last for decades with only occasional maintenance, like replacing brushes, and their longevity isn't tied to a consumable component that degrades after 300 to 500 charge cycles. Third on the list is the circular saw, specifically for heavy production work. To be fair, for occasional use, a good cordless circular saw performs excellently. If you're making a handful of cuts on a weekend project, you'll barely notice a difference. But for all-day professional use, corded reliability still wins. A corded circular saw draws power from the mains, which means it maintains the same performance throughout the entire job with zero dips. And because it doesn't need to house a battery, it's actually lighter. which means less fatigue over a long day of cutting. There's also the blade size advantage. Corded circular saws typically run a 7¼ inch blade, but can go up to 10¼ inches for extra cutting capacity, and that's simply not available on cordless models yet. One professional woodworker put it perfectly. For deck building, he uses his corded saw every time. Hundreds of cuts over multiple days with an outlet available on the house exterior, and the unlimited run time eliminates battery anxiety completely. On a larger job site, that also eliminates a real OSHA concern, managing the tripping hazards and charging logistics of multiple battery packs across a crew. Fourth is the angle grinder. For heavy grinding, long sessions, or deep cutting in stone and metal, a corded grinder maintains torque and speed without any power drop-off. Cordless grinders on 18 to 36 volt platforms give you roughly 20 to 45 minutes of runtime per charge, which is fine for quick cuts and occasional tasks. But if your daily schedule involves hours of continuous grinding, you'll be swapping batteries constantly. This is actually one of those tools where many professionals own both. They use the corded grinder for the long, tough jobs in the workshop, and keep a cordless one handy for quick tasks and hard-to-reach spots. That's the smart approach. Fifth is the router, and this might be the most clear-cut case on the entire list. The single biggest advantage of a corded router is unlimited runtime, and that matters enormously for router-specific tasks. Think about flattening a large slab with a router sled, where you might be making continuous passes for 30 minutes or more without stopping, or running a router table where the tool needs to be ready to go whenever you need it. When it comes to deep passes, dados, or routing large surface areas in dense hardwoods like maple, oak, or walnut, cordless routers lose torque and revolutions per minute noticeably faster than corded models. People also tend to overlook one more factor. Cordless routers are actually heavier due to the battery, and that extra weight becomes fatiguing quickly if you're doing overhead work or extended handheld sessions. If you're a dedicated furniture maker working with hardwoods, if you run a router table, or if your projects involve slab flattening with wide diameter bits, a corded router is simply the more reliable tool. Sixth is the reciprocating saw, specifically for demolition work. One professional who tested the DeWalt FlexVolt reciprocating saw said something that perfectly captures this issue. He said the FlexVolt reciprocating saw was as strong or stronger than any corded reciprocating saw he'd ever used, even his larger Milwaukee Super Sawzall. But then he added this, that the battery won't run very long on full bore, and that it's not meant to. That's the honest truth about cordless reciprocating saws. The power is there, the runtime is not, at least not for serious demolition. If you're tearing out a kitchen, stripping a deck, or doing an 8-hour demolition day, a corded reciprocating saw with its 7 to 15 amps of continuous power is simply more practical than cycling through battery after battery. Before wrapping up, there's one more thing you need to know about cordless tools that rarely gets discussed: battery degradation. DeWalt lithium-ion batteries last for 300 to 500 charge cycles, and after that, capacity drops noticeably. The same is true for Milwaukee red lithium packs, and honestly, any brand's battery chemistry follows the same curve. A year-old battery might only charge to 90% of its original capacity, and after 2 to 3 years of regular professional use, you're looking at replacement costs that corded tools simply never have. Heat is the silent killer too. Leaving batteries in a hot truck cab during summer can cause permanent capacity loss in just a few days, and most people don't know that. Here's what to take away from all of this. Understanding the strengths of corded tools isn't about being anti-cordless. It's about knowing the difference between buying the right tool and buying the most expensive one. For many people, the best setup is owning both. Use cordless where mobility and convenience matter, and plug into the wall when you need sustained, fade-free power all day long. If a tool sits in one spot and the work is heavy, plug it in. Your wallet and your results will thank you.